As we were talking, Jonathan, as we were talking about earlier about the ideological capture of our institutions, I have to ask you where you stand on the trans movement that's currently seems to be taking over everything.
What I will say is this: the libertarian in me will tell you that I'm okay with you expressing yourself any way that you want. But one thing that nobody ever talks about is the agricultural runoff, the vaccines, the processed foods, okay? If you don't think that the vaccine schedule, if you don't think that the Roundup that's getting into the water table, if you don't think that the Oreo cookies and the quarter waters and all that stuff that you're drinking throughout your life is not affecting your biology, then you really need to really understand what's being done to you. We are under weaponized biological attack, all right? Now, go do whatever you want, okay? But just like if you got lung cancer because you smoke cigarettes, okay, understand that if you're being pushed to not have children, if you're being pushed to not like the human population because there's too many of them, right? If you believe that there's too many people, then you're a victim of the biological attack under you, and they don't want you having children. They don't want you having the nuclear family. Okay,
demasculinize, get them into the medical system, have them be a victim of medicine for the rest of their life. You know, if you don't go to the doctor, you change your biology and you don't go to the doctor, you die, right or wrong?
Yeah, if you go and
you can't have babies, right?
If you go and you take and you have a medical procedure, okay, you're on medication for the rest of your life. You are a client of Big Pharma for the rest of your life.
And they have a super amount of control over you. So like you were saying before, if they just stop your medication, they don't like what you're saying, they don't like your political beliefs anymore.
You're dead.
They can you're so dependent on them. I don't see how people don't see that. And I almost feel bad. I feel like we're doing such an injustice to these people and to the women, right? Like what would you say to women that spend their whole lives working towards a goal? Whether it's swimming, whether it's athletics, whatever it is, and then someone that's been a woman for a year or 9 months comes in and takes all the glory and hard work away from them. Like, what do you say to those women? And is there a direct clash that's coming between feminism and trans ideology? Because it seems like those two things are on a collision course.
You could kill the interview vibe. Now we're just having a conversation.
But I'm
saying.
asking him a question. That was a good question. I don't know why I cut it off. I can't ask it again.
It was a good question.
I feel like you're in the
That was like my best question. You're like,
oh, sorry, my bad.
Just fuck.
Dude.
They'll edit it.
Yeah,
Just
they'll
keep
edit
going.
No, but I didn't. I wanted him to throw his opinion in too.
I'm just about to.
All right. No, I want Andrew to throw his opinion in too now.
Okay.
Now the interview's over.
So
we'll be able to get that question. There's no way I can repeat it.
Yeah.
You need it again?
No, you don't need it again. You're good, right?
What was it in essence? What was it again? What
It was like how.
Oh, okay, I got it. Okay, look. Again, the libertarian in me, do whatever you want, okay? But there's a man's skeleton is different than a woman's skeleton. We have broader shoulders, thinner hips. I mean, the biology is what it is, okay? Women's sports are there for a reason to protect women, okay? It's just what it is. I'm just want to be real with the information. Okay?
So you're on the side of women.
I think that if transgender people want to compete, there should be a separate transgender division. That's it. Keep the women alone. Keep the men alone. Just it is what it is. I'm not against it. But look, in the LGBT community, nobody has helped more LGBT people than I have. Nobody. Okay? And I'll tell you why. Okay? I have helped people's dreams come true. Okay, I want to address this because I need to get out in front of it. But
I want to hear it. Let's go.
Yeah,
look,
definitely.
I was blessed enough to be able to help families conceive. Okay, when there's a biological component, when you're in a homosexual relationship, you cannot reproduce. So I was able, through the grace of God, to help numerous families conceive. I didn't charge them a dime. I haven't. I just lended myself to help their dreams come true. Okay, so nobody has helped more LGBT than me. Okay, the only thing is that I just don't agree with things that are upside down. All right, you want to have a real conversation with me, you want to say what's real, say what's real.
So when it comes to what we're talking about, the big problem that I have with the trans ideology is like I can imagine myself in a scenario where my girl, or if I have a daughter one day, or any female family member of mine has to use the ladies' room, right? And then some trans woman, a man that became a woman, trans woman, wants to go in and use that bathroom. And I'm sorry, but there's no fucking way that's happening. So situations like this, when it comes to female members of my family, it really bothers me because I always consider myself in like a protector role over them, and I feel like this is an attack on them. So is there a way to make more women see this? That because a lot of times people will say they're feminists and they'll go along with the trans movement, but these two things to me are ideologically opposed. So what do you think?
I think that, listen, there's a very small percentage of the transgender community, okay? It's not like they're everywhere. There's a very small percentage. So as a parent, we have to be diligent, okay? The world is not, it's a dangerous place, okay? Nothing is going to be 100% safe. You have to take responsibility. You got to take responsibility of your kids. You got to watch them. If they're going to the bathroom, go with them, check, do your due diligence, okay? That's just the way that it has to be, okay? But it's not like they make it seem like there's an epidemic of transgender people all over the place that can't, all have to use the ladies' room or the men's room. It's just not the case.
But the percentage of LGBT identifying kids is way up, as opposed to like 20 years ago or 30 years ago. I mean, I think it's like 21% now of kids identify as some type of LGBT. That has to be a direct result of some type of messaging, especially when you look at the demographics of where it is. It's in liberal areas. So they're being taught this message, and they are becoming a bigger, maybe not just trans, but LGBT as a whole is certainly growing, I think.
It is. And all you have to do is turn on any TV show, like any black person that watches TV. Turn on one of your shows. Every main star of a black TV show is a tranny. Like, there is no straight, strong representation of the black man and the black family. They're all transgenders on TV. This is the messaging that they're giving to the children. My kids are on TikTok. They're on the social media. That's all that they're getting. It's the only message that they're getting. So what we represent is family. What we represent is parentage. If for whatever reason 20%, and again, this comes to, I'm going to bring it full circle. If 20% of the children's population is transgender or LGBT and they don't plan on having children, right, then we basically just had to ride out this wave because we have to have more children. And if we have more children and we teach them the patriotic system of America, that's the only way. See, the left messed up, right, because it takes about 15 years to train a generation. They went all the way full retard, because you never go full retard. And now the left has gone and made people not have children and mutilate themselves, and they're not going to reproduce, and they're going to die out, unfortunately. And you did it to yourself like that. We did not do that to you. Your ideology is the ideology of abortion. Your ideology is the ideology of sterilization. Do whatever you want to do, but your ideology will not survive because you don't have children. And we're going to have to be here to fight the David and Goliath fight and have as many children as we can and teach them the patriotic ways of America, and we will come back from this.
Famous quote by the Dragon Fist himself, Andrew. Last week he said, "Let them do it."
Oh yeah, I said if you're dumb enough to cut your dick off, I think you should definitely do it.
Let them do it.
Like that. To
why?
me,
Why would they? If your enemy makes a mistake, don't interrupt them, right? Like what are we doing here?
Yeah, and I think you're 100% right. Like as this generation sterilizes itself, and I also think we're going to see a lot more people post-transition with regret that are going to be speaking out. You're already seeing more of them, and as these like horrific stories come out about people that ruin their bodies for the rest of their lives and now regret it, and I think as we hear more of these stories, it'll also change the opinion. But again, they got the universities, they got the social media. Like, who knows if they'll even let us put this up? And that's where you got my vote, Jonathan.
I want to go back and just say that trans people are not my enemy, but I do feel bad for them because I think that a lot of transitioning and the hormones is due to mental illness, not being accepted by their peers. And there's a strong correlation there, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the exact research papers that have documented this, or if there are any. But I definitely have read in some articles that a lot of the transitioning and transitioned community suffers from mental illness that people are attributing to the post-transition. But I think that they had the mental illness prior, and that's what caused the transition, which came first, the chicken or the egg.
I don't think it's, like, again, you got to be careful with the words. It's not really mental illness. Like, it's poison. Like, you got to understand, if you live in the public housing and there's lead paint in that apartment, right, you're going to have mental problems from inhaling and eating that lead paint. Okay? If you are not eating the right foods, if you are getting vaccinations, it's going to affect you. Like, I don't want to take the premise like, oh, okay, the transgender bathrooms, the mental illness. That is controlled opposition. That is what they're making us talk about. All right? We got to understand, we are under biological weaponization to sterilize and make us not have children. And every which way that that's possible is what they're doing to us. And it's not simply just mental illness. It's not simply just the bathroom. Okay? We have to control the narrative on this.
But this is why you're the guy. You are the guy. I'd be canceled in 2.2 seconds. Not saying that anybody knows who I am anyway, but I'd be canceled in 2.2 seconds. And this is why we need you to represent us on these issues, so that way we can actually get things done, because you know that it's weaponization and not mental illness, and I don't know that. I don't know those things, and that's why you need to be the one to spearhead this campaign and make sure that this actually happens.
I think it's both, to be honest. I know no one asked me, but I'm going to tell you. I think that there's a certain level. I mean, it used to be called gender dysphoria, right? And certainly now there's more brainwashed kids that maybe wouldn't have had that mental illness. But to me, it's hard to not see the distinction between a mental disorder where you think you're in the wrong body and calling it mental illness. Like, I think it is to me. Like, I can't see that brainwashing ever working on me. Like, there's nothing you could tell me to convince me that I'm ever.
Yeah. What if 20 years ago someone told you that they were going to cut their dick off? Would you think that they were a sane and normal person?
Are you asking me or you're asking Jonathan?
I'm asking both of you.
I mean, look, like I said, the libertarian in me, just go do whatever you want to do, right? But at the end of the day, you got to go have children, all right? That is the only thing that fights against the eugenics and the left. We have to keep multiplying, we have to keep inventing, and we have to keep reinvesting in our communities. And the moment that you stop having children is when problems begin.
Yeah, and doesn't Elon say that we need more people, not fewer people? I think I heard him say that actually we need more people. I'm not sure what his reasons are.
I mean, it's just, listen, we just have to have children. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Have a family, have children, teach them whatever you want, take them to whatever school you want, love freedom, do everything that you want, but have children.
Just to touch on the poisoning aspect of things also, I was reading an article about type 3 diabetes, which basically is the Alzheimer's diabetes that causes you to lose your memory, which they'll give you a drug to restore your memory, but it starts with the diet, and the diet is killing us. Older gentlemen, 40, 50, 60 years old, their dicks don't work. They got Plan B, they got abortions, they got cut your dick off tranny. They got all this stuff, all this to kill our young boys and our young men, and to stop our women from having children. And I'm not saying I agree or I disagree with any of that. All I'm saying is that I see it. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if I even care, but I know that I see it. And if you don't see it, I don't know what you're looking at.
No, you should care. I see it too, and it's because the nuclear family is the biggest threat to the left's ideology. Jonathan's absolutely right. Raising your children with good morals and values is their biggest threat. Raising your children to love freedom and to think for themselves and having a strong family that they turn to, not the government that they turn to, is a problem for the government. And that's why they attack the nuclear family. That's why they push gay marriage and trans ideology and all these things, because these are nice, loyal little soldiers for them.
Yeah, like, this is what I'll say, right? Excuse me. This is what I'll say, right? The rainbow flag. Anytime I see that rainbow flag flying, what does that mean? That means I got to put my mask on. That means I got to show you my vaccine card. Okay? Anytime I was working in the city, right? Anytime I saw that flag, that means my free speech was stifled. That means I had to get censored. Okay? The American flag already exists. The American flag already encompasses all of our individualism. All right? That's what America is. The rainbow flag does not represent freedom. The rainbow flag represents the left, and it represents oppression and censorship. And that's what we really have to understand, because, you know, that's really where I'm at with the symbolism and the representation, because symbols are there to conceal, but they're also there to reveal. And you really have to learn how to read the symbolism that's in front of you, not only on the TV, not only in social media, but understand what they're presenting. And stand for your country, stand for your people, stand for your flag, because it doesn't represent anything negative.
Yeah, absolutely. And any congressperson that flies a flag that's not the American flag, I think should be kicked right out of Congress. And because you see, they fly all types of flags. They all wear all types of pins. No other country does that. You don't see any other country wearing the pin of a different country. Only we do that. Only we fly flags that aren't our own. And the thing, it gets me going a little bit about the rainbow flag that really bothers me about that is I feel like it's a fuck you to God. Because what was the rainbow? The rainbow was given to, in the Bible, was given to the people after Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed for, like, what is Sodom, right? Like sodomy. The people were so bad. God destroyed the earth, right, with the flood, and then he gave them a rainbow as a promise, as a covenant that this will never happen again. So they took that and made it their flag. Like, oh, we're doing it again. Go fuck yourself, basically. So that's why I have a problem. I don't have a problem. Most people don't know that when they fly it. So, but when I see it, I don't know. It just irks me a little bit that that's what they took, and that's why they took it.
Well, how many colors are there in a rainbow?
I have no idea.
7. Roy G. Biv, right? Red, orange, green, blue, indigo, yellow, and violet. Right? Okay. But how many stripes are there on the rainbow flag? There's 6. You understand? Like, the encoded messaging, right, is something that we all have to learn how to read. Okay? Because just because they say it represents what they say it represents doesn't mean that that's what it represents. So please, do your own research. Like, you have to understand what they're presenting. Okay? Be smarter than that. Don't just take what they're giving you. Like, understand your rights and your freedoms, and don't let it be taken away by messaging and symbology that's being presented to you by people that don't want you to have children. Okay? Are we gonna only talk about fucking gays? Or can we do that?
No, we did it. We can go somewhere else now.
I was waiting for you guys to finish. You guys are having a real gay conversation.
What are we missing?
Yeah, you guys really went in on the gay.
Yeah, we did a lot.
No, but I think it's important. Oh, good one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yo, what do you think about Palestine, bro? What's going on? Does Palestine exist? Is it real? What's going on? Tell me.
The first thing that I would say to anyone talking about the Middle East is take a map and look at the map first, okay? Because Israel is a little micro piece of land in the region. So let's look at a map and let's have a conversation, okay? While we look at a map. Now, what I believe that's really happening with the Israel-Palestinian situation in New York City is, when did they start this problem? Right before the election. I know this because I ran for city council, and I know that this conflict started right before the election. So all this is to get people in the streets focused on issues that have nothing to do with New York City, right? We have congestion pricing, okay? We have the public housing issue. We go to the store and the sodas are $3. Okay? We're bankrupt. Don't come and try to make me fight with my Palestinian neighbor. I'm not falling for it. Okay? Ukraine happened right after COVID. Oh, COVID was done. Go back and look. Go back and see what Biden did. Right after he said COVID was done, the next day we're in Ukraine spending $222 million a day when we can't even fix an elevator in the public housing.
I'm pretty sure we left Afghanistan, and the next day we were in Ukraine. I have to double check. I'm pretty sure it's like 1 or 2 days later after our withdrawal from Afghanistan, we started with boots on the ground in Ukraine. They couldn't even go 2 days without the war.
Endless war. What does that mean? Do you think we have money? No, we print money. They keep putting us into war, and we keep printing money, and then we're transferring over our energy so that our money isn't worth anything because it's not backed on anything. So we're going to be in debt, and we're going to be broke. So why don't we stop going and blowing up people of color, by the way, brown people, right? Because the Middle East is brown people. So you want us to go and fight and blow up brown people? I don't think so. I'm not going to fund endless wars and millions of dollars to be spent when we have problems here at home. And we need to stop with the wars. We need to stop funding things overseas, because I'll tell you what, has any constitutions been dropped in any of these countries that we've been to? Has there been any leaflets to address our way of life? No, never. We blow up brown people all over the world, and now the left wants us to go and blow up more brown people in the Middle East again after we just came out of there when we went in there for a lie. Because if you remember, Iraq had no weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, can we just stop killing people? I mean, why do all these people need to die? Like, why do babies need to die? Like, I don't really get that. And I'll tell you that in my friend circle, right, we're smart enough and nice enough and love each other enough to be able to tell the difference of who's a friend and who's not a friend. But I see that these borders, these boundaries are being crossed with friendships that have lasted years and years and years and years. And now these Jewish people and these Palestinian people, or these white people and these Palestinian people, or these black people and these Palestinian people, or white people and Jews, or whoever else is having these arguments.
Queers for Palestine.
They're just not friends anymore. And I just don't understand. Babies dying, people getting killed, but you're not going to be friends with somebody that you were friends with for your whole entire life. Like, you don't trust them enough that bond is enough. Like, the government has you that brainwashed that you can't tell the difference. It's so crazy.
And you believe everything you see on TV, right? So 3 people on a parachute started shooting up a rave, and now are you kidding me?
Through the Iron Dome. They got through the Iron Dome.
So like, whatever I see on TV, I remember when COVID started, that video on TikTok where that Chinese guy fell down, and now they shut down the world. Like, are we that retarded? Are we that stupid that we're going to believe some video, some ridiculous edited video that is probably impossible to happen, and now we're going to base that on all of us fighting all throughout New York City and to spend billions of dollars that we don't even have to go blow up the Middle East again?
And it seems like we're on a pathway to World War III. I mean, if you think that China doesn't see how weak Biden is and how weak his response is pretty much in every conflict we've had since he's taken over, they're 100% going to try to take Taiwan. Then what happens? You could see all the people. It's not like in World War II, they knew World War II started when it started. They didn't know they were in World War II until after, and they named it World War II, right? Like, are we already in World War III? Is there any way to stop this?
The black and the Spanish people got to wake up, man. The Democratic Party has sold you out. They sold you out. They need to wake up. Do you think that they're going to allow this election to happen? Do you really think that they're going to let Trump run and have a clear path to victory? They are going to start a war quickly. They are going to start a problem here quickly. And the only people that are going to be affected are the low-income families that live in this city. You have been lied to. And you need to wake up, and you need to go out and you need to vote Republican, and you need to learn the history of the Republican Party, because we are the party that was built for this specific reason.
How crazy is it going to be when the news breaks that that Biden is sick and they got Michelle Obama running on the ticket?
Oh, there's no way they're running Biden.
And a war gets started to create an executive order to keep the politicians that are in place right now in place. How is that going to look?
You know, I think that they went too far, too quickly, right? I think that Trump's 4 years in office pushed back a lot of the policies. And now they had to make up for it. And that's why you're able to see everything in plain sight right now.
But they should have wrote him out, just like we need to ride out the trannies. Because if we ride out the trannies, they'll all be dead in 15, 20 years. They ride out Trump another 4 years. They got a clear path, man. They got a clear path.
They're never going to ride out Trump. It is my prediction that if they don't get him on these legal things and Biden is the nominee with a 30-something% approval rating, which no president has ever won re-election with that approval rating, the libs know that. They're going to take a shot at Trump. Someone's going to try to kill Trump. They're not going to let him be president. No way.
Fuck rape and all that other stuff. It's so bad. It's so terrible, right? But what was this woman doing with him in a dressing room in a department store? Why was he not found guilty in criminal courts? Was he even tried in criminal court?
Doesn't even know who that is.
Well,
have you seen
he
this
definitely
lady?
knows who she is.
Have you seen this lady?
I've seen her, yes.
Have you heard her interviews?
Yes, and he definitely was in contact with her at the time, like definitely 100%. But that's the same as like
definitely
the Kobe Bryant.
100%. That lady's crazy.
The Kobe,
even CNN didn't cut her out to commercial because they were like, "What the fuck is wrong with this lady?"
I mean, they try to get Kobe Bryant on it. They got Mike Tyson on it, which I don't know if any of that's true. But what do you think about that? You think it's true? You think he raped her?
What do you think they're gonna do to me? Okay.
No.
What do you think? What do you think is gonna happen when? What do you think they're gonna use against me when I show up? When I show up at the house, when I show up in Washington, and I'm there for the simple fact to hold these people accountable, and I'm not making any deals with any one of you, what do you think they're going to come after me with? That's politics. When you go after your political opponent, you try to get them put in jail. That's how you do it. And that's what they're trying to do to their political opponents. That's not the American way, and that's what's happening. And let's not focus on the charges, okay? Because I have to go to court. Okay, I have to go to court because I went to a food pantry down in Queens, and there was 300 people lined up outside. This was their only way to eat, and there was perishables inside of that food pantry, and the landlord and the police wouldn't open the door, so I kicked that door down, and I made sure I fed 300 people, and I got to go to court, which they originally charged me for felony burglary, but they dropped it down. But what I'm trying to tell you is that they will try to get you on something. So let's not worry about the charges. Let's understand that they are not letting this man get into office.
That's right.
They're not letting him run, and they're going to continue manipulating the message, and we all have to be smart enough to not believe everything you see on TV.
Does it even make sense that at a department store, right, a high-end department store in Manhattan, billionaire playboy walks in to a dressing room and rapes someone? She couldn't raise her voice. No one could hear her through the curtain.
I'm not saying he did or he didn't.
It doesn't even make sense. How we could even ask, did he do that? Clearly, this story is bullshit.
I just want to know what she was doing in there with him. That's what I want to know. I want to know what was she doing in there.
That lady's insane. You just have to listen to her talk for 1 minute. She's lost it.
Believe all women except for Monica Lewinsky, who accused Clinton.
Oh yeah, look at Bill.
Believe all women except for the one that accused Joe Biden, right? Believe all women up until the time it is to not believe all women, right? What about the woman that went after the Supreme Court justice? Kavanaugh. They keep bringing these people out. You can not believe any of them. Only believe the ones that serve to go after your political opponent. So that's it. The story is meaningless. There's no it's nothing to even talk about.
The guy went his entire life. He's 70 years old. He doesn't drink alcohol, never been arrested, and now he's being charged with 90-something felonies. I don't know. It seems like interesting timing. Right before he's about to run for president again?
Yeah, while Alvin Bragg and Letitia James...
Come on.
While Alvin Bragg and Letitia James let illegal aliens beat up police, and they walk.
Yep.
They walk.
She ran on getting Trump. That was her whole thing. She ran that she's going to get Trump. And I guess, they're trying to figure out a way. It's real scary, man. This is a scary time for our country. And I know they always say this is the most important election, but I really feel like, we might not have any more elections, or at least fair ones, ever.
I think, look, in terms of my election, I need fundraising help. I need people to raise money and send it to me. There's no way that anyone's going to take me seriously if I can't raise money.
Tell them where they can do that.
You can go to JDRforNYC.com. It's JDRforNYC.com. To run for Congress, I have a bank account connected to the FEC. Everything is documented. Everything is itemized. I don't want to take money from big tech, from big pharma, which means that I need to have the grassroots organization. You want to set up a fundraiser for me? You want to have a pizza party? I'll come. I'll hang out with you. I'll talk. I'll share the information. Just help me raise money, because it's the only way that I'm going to be able to hire people to help me petition to get signatures, because I need about 2,000 signatures. So I need to hire people to walk the streets. I can't knock on every single door. One person cannot do it. I need to reinvest in the community. If I raise money, it's all going to the district. I need to make sure that I have people making phone calls, sending emails. I need to get people educated. I want people to be part of the process so that they know for the next election how to run for office. Every single person should be running for office. There should be primaries all over the place. Let the best man or woman or whatever and the best policy determine who is going to be the nominee, and let's get the ideas out there, every single one, and let them all be heard in the public. But fundraising is the most important thing right now for not only me, but for every candidate that's out there.
Jonathan Rinaldi here for black people, brown people, and or poor people. That's why we love him.
Got my vote.